everyone, it's Paul Ward here, and welcome to another 15 Minutes. I'm very excited today. We have a special guest, Chris James with Pacific Oaks Mortgage. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I wanted to have you on today, Chris, to talk about the market, but also to focus a little bit on VA loans and what your company has to offer for our veterans and active military families. So thanks for being with us to discuss.
Of course, my pleasure. So,
So,
of course, as Paul said, my name is Chris. I'm with Pacific Oaks Mortgage. We are a brokerage here in Westlake Village. Our company has been here in Westlake for a little over 15 years now. And of course, as being a brokerage, we have the availability to be approved by various different lenders that, of course, offer different programs, of course, given whatever meets the borrower's criteria. And by doing so, we're able to get borrowers the best possible rate given, of course, those circumstances.
sure. And I did read that you have over 100 large investors that you're able to access for your loans.
Yes, we do. So like I said, part of the specialty with us being a brokerage is that given the type of loan program that fits that individual the best, whether it be FHA, a VA loan, conventional loan, and as well as self-employed loans or loans for those that are investors, we're able to find the proper home for them. Given the fact that we do have so many different lenders, it allows us to explore the best option available.
Great. And then jumping into VA loans, who qualifies specifically for a VA loan?
Of course. So typically VA loans are designed specifically for veterans, but they do apply to those veteran spouses as well. You do have to be legally married, and that spouse, of course, can use the benefits that a VA loan does provide for them.
And how much would a veteran buyer have to put down? I think it's less than a conventional buyer.
Yeah, of course. So the one beauty of the fact of a VA loan is that they do allow up to 100% financing. There are loan amounts up to $4 million, and
Oh,
you could
wow.
have so they do go a little bit higher than what conventional and FHA loans do allow. And by doing so, you can have a FICO score as low as 580 to, of course, apply for that loan program.
Really? 580? That is pretty darn low.
It is. It is. We definitely like to help out those who serve our country. So, what better way than making it as viable of an option as possible to get them a home?
That is a good point. What would be kind of for those folks listening or watching out there, what would be kind of a trick to get your VA offer accepted over, let's say, a conventional buyer who's putting 20% down?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's a few different options that you could do, but one that's been really popular right now, of course, with individuals is the temporary BuyDown program, which helps, it does help veterans, of course, have a lesser interest rate and lesser payment out the gate. Now, that might be an option, where, of course, compared to that individual putting 20% down, it might open the doors for those individuals who do respect the fact that, we're helping those out who have served our country. In that exact comparison of those two, it's really just going to be in the sense of with the VA loan, we like to get as many items on the checklist of submitting a loan as possible. And by having a fully underwritten loan, where of course it does tell the individual who is selling a property that, hey, we have ran this through our desktop underwriting service. And then as well as that it is backed by, of course, the Veteran of Affairs.
And let's talk about that checklist. What is included on that checklist to get pre-approved?
Yeah, of course. So typically what the individual is going to want to have is 2 years of tax returns, 2 years of W-2s, 1 month of bank statements, 2 months of pay stubs, and then also what is called their DD-214. The DD-214 is a certificate of eligibility, and this informs the lender that the VA has guaranteed the set amount, which is a standard $36,000 of entitlement for their loan.
And all of that information you acquired, you would recommend getting all of that before somebody is out there, house hunting and falling in love and kind of has the cart before the horse, so to speak. They find their dream home and then they're not even approved, right? You'd recommend that they get approved before they actually go out and shop.
I would. That's definitely hint number one, step number one in my book of recommendations of individuals who are very serious, of course, about moving forward with the home purchase process. Is
Mm-hmm.
one, meet with an individual like myself, who can review all of your documentation, make sure that you do fall in line for the proper qualifications and that you have the criteria that is required in order to get that VA loan. And then by doing so, a loan officer like myself would issue a pre-approval letter. And what this does is this then gives the real estate agent that you're working with, hopefully, of course, Paul, to be able to go in with a strong offer by having that desktop underwriter that we discussed, and then as well as having that pre-approval letter that states, hey, we've already gone through the financials. This buyer is pre-qualified and it will be smooth sailing throughout the course of escrow, and that it almost helps, of course, give us security that the transaction will close on time and we've done our due diligence to make sure that it does.
Right, right. And what are the current kind of prevailing, and we're kind of looking at the end of August here, but what are the prevailing rates right now at this moment?
Of course. So due to everything that has gone on, we have seen interest rates climb in the last, little in the last few months, but then of course, since really February, March of 2022 now, looking back, it's been about a year and a half of just rate hits and consecutive increases from the Fed. For a VA no cost loan, even at 100% financing, we're at about 6.875 to 7% right now, depending, of course, on the lender, because it does vary based on the loan amount and the individual's FICO score. But that is what we're looking at right now for your standard 100% financing for a 30-year fixed also.
And then you mentioned the 2-to-1 buy down. So their rate would be at that rate, or would it be lower than that for 2 years?
So there's different ways that you could structure it, of course. You either have a 3-1, 2-1, or 1-1, depending on the term and, of course, how much you want to buy the rate down. But for a 3-1 buy down, your first year would be 3% less than what that note rate is. So if you're
Oh,
at
wow.
7%, yeah. So if you're at 7%, your initial first year is going to be 4, the second year 5, third year 6, and then after the third year, you're locked for the remaining term of your mortgage for that note rate, which would be that 7% interest rate.
Mm-hmm. And I would imagine for, military families who do tend to, move a little bit more often than other folks, that, maybe you're going to be in the area for 3 years or 5 years. You could own your home during that period at a lower rate, and then knowing you're going to, potentially be selling and moving to the next location, that might be a good opportunity.
I agree. And it's been very helpful for those that I've worked with in the past who they do qualify, of course, for the end payment result, but just having to put up funds for closing costs, moving furniture, whatever it may be, the difference of a few $100s per month for that year, 2 years, 3 years really does help those individuals recoup those costs that they had to incur, of course, with getting, a home and financing and everything that it entails. So it is a great option for those individuals from what I've seen.
Right. And from everything I've read, I don't see, Ventura County prices going down really at all. I mean, their supply is so low, right? I mean, we thought that prices would come down when rates went up, but that just didn't happen because the inventory was so low. I think, isn't it like 90% of the folks out there have rates below 4%, something, and then I mean 70% have rates below 3%, something staggering like that.
Yeah, I did see a stat the other day on a nationwide count that they took that 90% of individuals are actually 6% and less. And then even higher, of course, for those numbers that, on the inverse side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, to go along, I mean, we just haven't seen home prices decline. Like I think what analysts and forecasts and everyone was expecting in the beginning of 2022. And
Hmm.
of course, as we did see previously with lesser rates, you have overbidding and higher prices. So
Right.
even though the rate may seem scary right now, of course, in the long term, it could be the best, position for certain individuals to be in, of course, given that if you can refinance later down the road and you were able to get the home at a more affordable entrance price, then it could be that much more beneficial for you long term.
Sure. What other niche programs does Pacific Oaks offer, Chris?
Yeah, of course. So in regards to helping out our veterans, um, it's a lot of the times with pricing, one of the things that's super beneficial about being for a brokerage is that we did talk about having 100% financing. But when you put down more of a down payment, that interest rate does get better because therefore the lender is taking less risk, of course, on how much they're lending out. So one of
Hmm.
the things that we have for people is that let's say they want to get an initial rate that a half a point better by putting, 20, 30% down in order to do so. Well, while you close, of course, your first mortgage, we also have simultaneous second mortgages, or what are called piggyback HELOC loans. And
Hmm.
they essentially give you a line of credit and replenish that 20% that you were able to use. So, of course, you would be able to reimburse yourself with those funds, and then you would have an interest only payment for the first 10 years of that loan. And then it amortizes for the remaining 20 years of that loan once those 10 years have passed. So
Oh,
that's something
wow.
that's helped individuals a lot, as well as the 3-2 buy down.
Hmm.
And then the other one that I would say is our VA construction one-time close for those veterans who are either already owning a home or, of course, looking to purchase a home, and you would be looking to do a type of ground up construction. They are able to bundle the overall construction cost into the combined loan amount, and therefore partner up with your contractor and the construction company that you'll be working with. And then they issue the draw payments to your contractor and make sure that they get paid in a timely manner and that it closes, of course, within the schedule of construction.
Interesting. Could you use that loan to potentially build an ADU in your garage or above your garage?
You could use it for really anything. The only thing that you can't use it for is adding on to a condo, is the only restriction that they do have. But for building an ADU, uh, ground up construction, and really, or remodel construction, if you'd like to do that, you can include all of those into the overall loan amount. And the beauty of that is you wouldn't have to make a payment until the 1 year mark. So they do give you a full 12 months for the construction to take place. And then once that 12 months is up, is and the construction is finalized, is when you would actually start making payments on that mortgage.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
By that time,
yeah,
you've occupied your ADU with a tenant or another family member or a kid returning from college and, charge them rent.
exactly. So there are a lot of beautiful programs that are out there. I mean, given, of course, the increase in interest rates, but with that, they have allowed more products to be able to be available for those individuals, of course, to be as helpful as possible.
Well, this is very helpful, very, very informative. So, Chris, how do folks get a hold of you?
Of course. So you can either email me at chris@pacificoaksmortgage.com. My phone number is 818-292-1260. Or if you don't want to hear, of course, anything and you already know what you need to do, you can always visit our website at www.pacificoaksmortgage.com and you can apply on our website. And of course, either myself or one of our loan specialists would reach out and have a free consultation with you.
Awesome. Well, Chris James, thank you so much for being our guest on this edition of 15 Minutes. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it as well, and my pleasure to help inform those who need it.
Absolutely.